Good afternoon. Welcome to episode 41 of Knittings and Sewings, a podcast about knitting, sewing, spinning, weaving, crochet, and many other fiber arts that I happen to be dipping into at various times. I'm Shelley from Kansas City, and I wanted to make note of the fact that I'm wearing a shawl that was not made by me. It is called the Simple Gifts Shawl, and it was designed and knit by Cynthia Carter from Florida. And she and I did a prayer shawl gift exchange back in 2009. And so this week I was feeling particularly kind of down in the dumps, and we're at that phase of the year where winter keeps coming back in and rearing its ugly head. And so I was looking for a little bit of comfort. And lo and behold, I pulled out this beautiful shawl from my shawl chest. As many of you know, I have like a little treasure chest of shawls in cedar lined and so forth. So I had pulled this out, and it was made by Cindy. She and I did do a shawl exchange many, many years ago, back in 2009. And I sent her one and she sent me this one. But this one is particularly very special because she not only knit it, and it's a very complex, beautiful, intricate, large, rectangular shawl. But she not only knit it, she designed it. And so I wanted to, with her permission, I wanted to read you a little bit about this particular shawl. First of all, it is the Malabrigo. It was made with Malabrigo Stone Chat as the colorway. And I'm going to put up a picture of a close-up because you can't see all the detail as I'm wearing it. But she said, obviously it was a part of our prayer shawl swap in the prayer shawl group on Ravelry. And so the basic construction of the shawl follows Elizabeth Zimmerman's Stonington shawl. She chose lace patterns for the center panels, borders, and edging. The design for the shawl came to her in a dream, she said. She had stayed up late on Ravelry looking at ideas for patterns, and she couldn't really exactly hone in on one. And so she woke up knowing, though, exactly what she wanted to make and what it would look like. She wanted something that would express the simplicity of faith inspired by the Shaker song Simple Gifts and the Shaker aesthetic. And it's very ironic because she didn't notice at the time that we did this prayer shawl exchange, but the Shaker song Simple Gifts is one of my all-time favorites. And I've always loved that song since third grade when I first learned to sing it in one of our music pageants in school. So Simple Gifts resonates with me very in a very special way. The center panel, she says strong, geometric, functional, and straightforward is how she saw this shawl and envisioned it. I like that. Strong, geometric, functional, and straightforward. The center panel is adapted from a lace pattern in Eugene Bugler's Symmetry and Silk. The border pattern of alternating triangles is from Barbara Walker's Second Treasury of Knitting Patterns, the pyramidal lace check. And the four sides of the square shawl and the center lace motif represents the four Gospels. The triangles in the border are a reminder of the Trinity. The shawl is edged in Godmother's edging, traditionally used on christening shawls and chosen as a reminder of our baptism. The Godmother's edging pattern is also from Walker's Second Treasury. And then she gives, the song Simple Gifts. She wrote that out for me. And anyway, I just absolutely love this shawl. I couldn't love it more. And I'm going to put up a picture of me wearing it and also a picture of some of the details so that you can see how lovely it really is. I usually wear this shawl whenever anyone asks me about how to wear a rectangular shawl. The way I often wear this particular one is to just make it into a very large triangle. and it makes it very warm and comfy. But there are other ways that you can wear rectangular shawls, and I'm going to show you a picture of what I sent to her in my gift to her. Mine was called the Boxleaf Shawl by Hanson, and it is also a rectangular shawl, not nearly as elaborate as this one, but I'm going to post a picture of this so you can see. That's another way of wearing a rectangular shawl, the way that I'm wearing it in that picture. I snapped the picture right before I mailed it to her. And so I was obviously much younger then. This was back in 2009. But you can see that rectangular shawls do have a lot of variety of ways you can wear them, because they can be worn like a scarf. They can be worn over the shoulders like I'm wearing this now, or they can, in a winged kind of way, or they can be worn as I'm wearing it in this picture of the Boxleaf shawl. So I hope you enjoy that, a little dip into the shawl exchange that we did many years ago. And it always is comforting to bring out something when someone specifically made you a shawl and had you in mind and wanted to comfort you and provide a squishy, warm, soft shawl that is so special. This means the world to me, and I have just cherished it ever since I received it. So I wanted to share that with you. What brings you comfort? And knowing that you had a gift from another knitter or crocheter, I think makes it all the more special, because they know how much time and attention and love and, just mastery went into each stitch. This particular shawl took her, I think, about 2.5 months to knit. And so it was a big investment of her time, and not only that, her creativity. So I really appreciate this. And I do want to also mention that she has now a pattern on Ravelry that is a scarf pattern. It's a good sampler if you're beginning to knit lace. I think it's an excellent way to practice lace. And lace has always brought me a lot of comfort in knitting it, because it takes all my attention. By focusing on that lace pattern or that chart, they can be often knit with the chart, or there can be written instructions, and sometimes both. But I had started lace knitting around 2007. So I'd been doing it only for a couple of years at the time that we knit these shawls. But anyway, I just wanted to bring that up, that this is a time where if you need special comfort, and in these chilly days where we're not quite there into spring yet, and we have sometimes a dip into dark, cold, or even snowy days, it can be really comforting, as well as any time you just need an emotional hug. Having a shawl wrapped around you with a good cup of tea or coffee, there's nothing better and more comforting than that. In speaking about shawls, one thing that you can consider doing is gradually becoming more and more involved, whether you're a knitter or a crocheter, in the production and creation of your own shawl. And you can start by doing like my friend Cindy did, who made this shawl, and you can make a big adaptation on a pattern that you already are working on. Anytime we make adaptations on our shawl patterns, or even on our sweaters that we work on, in a sense, we are kind of co-creating. Of course, the designer designed the pattern and the idea and so forth, but by making major changes, I think that's the first step toward knowing you're advancing as a knitter or a crocheter, and to eventually perhaps adapting a pattern enough that it eventually becomes your own creation. And certainly that it becomes more customized to your tastes or your likings. So I wanted to bring up a book that I read 4 years ago. I got this during the pandemic. It's called Custom Shawls for the Curious and Creative Knitter by Kate Atherley and Kim McBrien Evans. And Kate Atherley was actually the manager or technical director, let me see what it was, for Knitty.com. She was the managing technical editor, and she's also a seasoned designer. And then Kim McBrien Evans, the partner in this book, is a well-known knitter and indie dyer. And so they both contributed to this book. And I think it's an excellent one if you are considering branching into design at all in your own work with your shawls. Whether you're a knitter or crocheter, I think you would benefit by the concepts in this book. Now, the specific instructions, and there are patterns in here for specific shawls, those are obviously done with knitting in mind. But what I like about it in particular is it tells you, starting with the shape of the shawl, it shows you how to use the book to either substantially modify or to design your own shawl. And one thing I like in here is she talks about, helping you choose a shape. Things like, if I have a lot of yarn and a lot of time, then I might want to do a rectangular or square one. What I'm wearing today is a rectangular one. If you have limited amounts of time or yarn, then an asymmetrical triangle is a possibility, or a top-down wide triangle. If you have very specific sizes in mind, a rectangle. If you like symmetry, you can do rectangles or squares. It goes into all the different things. If you're wanting this, then you might try that shape. This also goes into major sections involving color, selecting yarn, selecting color, figuring out how much yarn I would need for a given shawl. There's also sections in here on techniques to use, yarn and fabric, colors, and stitch dictionaries. Here's an example of one of my favorite stitch dictionaries for knitting. There are other ones out there for crochet as well, but this one is 365 knitting stitches a year. It's in calendar format, and it's it's a spiral bound top. So I really always have enjoyed this particular stitch dictionary. But there are many, many of them out there, and they talk in this book about how to use a stitch dictionary to create a shawl of your own design. So I really like this book. I like the patterns that they have in it. One of my all-time favorites in here, let's see if I can find it real quick, yes, is this one called Travelogue. And it's got a lot of different colors and shapes within it. It looks very creative and fun to me. So, this is something that I do think is a good way to branch out and expand your creativity, whether you're intending to actually become a designer yourself and publish your patterns, or if it's just for your own creative exploration. This afternoon, I decided to visit my local Joann store, which will be closing. I think all of them will. And I was kind of sad to go in there, but I wanted to take a peek and see how much activity there was, what merchandise was left, and so forth. And one thing I have to admit that motivated me was we've been having such bizarre weather, like a lot of the country. This is a very weird winter. And we had a week of spring last week that was glorious, early spring. But now we're getting ready tonight to have some crazy winds and storms, and it's supposed to turn into a little mini blizzard. So I don't know what's going to be happening, but like 70-mile-an-hour wind, and then by morning we can have ice and snow and blowing. So I am very much in the mood for spring, like many of us, and in the Northern Hemisphere. And so I happened to be perusing the YouTube today in a search for an idea for a spring shawl. And I would like just a really quick one to make. Triangular is one of my favorite shapes, especially for a quickie like that I just want to throw over my shoulders or over a t-shirt. And so I happened to run upon a guy, let me find his name here. I'll put a link, but he's Juan the Yarn Addict. And I'd never found this guy before, but I like his tutorial. He did a tutorial on a design of his own called It's Just a Shawl. I like that name. It's Just a Shawl. And so he goes through step by step how to orchestrate doing the shawl. And I decided that not only did I like his very simple shawl, but I decided that I liked the yarn he was using. And it's called Caron Colorama in Lacy, Yarnspirations. And it is a lacy, very colorful yarn. Doesn't this look just like spring? The colorway is called Spectrum, I believe. But let me check to make sure I'm right. And it is, yeah, Spectral. It is very Easter color looking to me. It has beautiful yellows, a little bit of lavender, pinks, peaches, just a really nice assortment of spring colors. And it's a very lacy yarn. So I don't know how easy this yarn is going to be to work with. It is a 4, I believe, a bulky Spectral colorway. Trying to see what number it is, but it has to be like a super bulky. You're supposed to use a K crochet hook with it if you do that, or in terms of yeah, it's very big yarn. I still can't find it. Here it is, a 5. It's a super bulky. So if you want to grab this yarn, you can get it. It's a Caron Colorama Lacy. You can get it at Joann if there is still a Joann near you that is open. It wasn't a tremendous sale. I mean, normally this yarn is $11.99 for like 360 yards, and I got it for 25% off. So I paid, I think, $8.99 for what would have been $11.99. But anyway, I bought 2 of the balls, and I am going to attempt this shawl. It just looks like one of those fun, mindless projects that I can quickly whip up a shawl in time for Easter, because, you know, Easter's like a little bit more than a month away. And I would like to have something that I can throw on my shoulders when the air conditioning's too chilly. And it won't be that much longer until we have this air-conditioned weather, air conditioning time again. So I'm going to whip up this shawl, and I'm looking forward to it. I'll let you know how it goes next time. But in the meantime, if you would like to join me in making one of these, perhaps you can grab some of this Caron Colorama Lacy, or something of your own choosing. Maybe something from your stash. But how about a quick triangle shawl to kickstart spring? I am all for that. Let me know what your favorite shawl project is for a really quick and easy shawl, whether it's in crochet or knit. I'd love to hear your ideas. Next up, I want to give you an update on the Carbeth sweater project. I was hoping to be a lot farther along on this project. In fact, I was hoping to be finished by now, and I was kind of holding off recording, not only because I was kind of down in the dumps, but I also, you know, wanted to be farther along on my project. So unfortunately, I'm not finished, but I did get quite a bit. Well, the main body is supposedly done. It is the 11, oh, whoops, it flipped up there. It's the 11 inches that I was planning on making it. And I hope that ribbon doesn't keep flipping up there. But anyway, the main body is finished, but now I'm working on the sleeves. And so I just want to show you, because I thought this might be helpful. When you're doing sleeves, these sleeves are done totally separate. And I'm using Flexi Flips needles to do the sleeves. It makes it so much easier. And then to make sure that they turn out, you know, the same length, I'm making lifelines periodically to compare the two and make sure that they end up the same. And I'm also, you know, keeping tick marks of how many rows I have. So, you know, all in all, it is coming along. Once I get this second sleeve finished, then I will be ready to connect the whole sweater together. So it is in progress, but, you know, with it being on a size 9 needle and being a worsted weight sweater, I was hoping it would go a lot faster, but I just have been poking along on things lately. So just wanted to show you the progress, and hopefully, I'm afraid to even say it, but hopefully next time I will be able to show you the completed sweater. Now I'm going to give you an update on my crochet. For those of you who are crocheters, first of all, I want to say a big hello to a coworker of my husband's, Michelle, and her 2 daughters who watch my videos. They wanted to make a point of telling me that they watch the videos and really love the parts when I talk about crochet. So I want to say a big hello to them and show you what I've been up to as far as crochet goes. First of all, if you remember last time, well, I'll show you the one I did. In January, I finished up this square. And I was going to go with this colorway, which is called the Midnight Mosaic colorway. But then I decided that for my living room, where I'm going to be using the shawl, the Afghan, that this colorway, Holiday Spice, would go better with my decor in the hearth room. So I did finish this up. It took me, almost a month, maybe not quite a month. I've been finished with it for maybe a week and a half now. So I'm not extremely fast on it, but I'm enjoying every stitch and every moment of this project. For some reason, doing all these complex stitches really reminds me of how I feel when I'm knitting lace, knitted lace, in the sense that I have to pay attention to what I'm doing, and I can't think about any of my troubles or problems when I'm in the midst of doing this. And I also love the videos that go along with it, the tutorial videos. They're very, very helpful. And Lena, the lady that does the videos and I think has designed the Afghan, she really is good at teaching step by step and showing you both a left and right-handed version of how to go about crocheting the project. So I'm really happy with the center square. And I just found out yesterday that my second kit was mailed out. So I'll soon be going to the next step on this project. And I'm just loving it so much. It's the Annie's Attic. I'm not affiliated with them. I pay for my own kits, so I have no reason to tout them other than I really enjoy working with the kits. And I look forward to moving ahead to kit 2 very soon. I decided I really wanted to do some more crochet. I've been really into it, as I've told you. And so I decided while I was there, they had a sale going on, and I decided to pick up some yarn that was on sale, which was this mandala. And this particular color, I believe, is Centaur. Let me tell you. And it's a LionBrand. It's 1,181 yards. The colorway is Centaur, Centaur. And it's a beautiful, beautiful shades of browns, a little bit of rust there, some gray, some marigoldy color, beige, and purple, and then a lavender. I just love these colors. So I picked up a ball of this with the intention of making a poncho. I really love ponchos in these transitional seasons in between, like winter and spring and, fall and winter. Anytime there's a transitional season, I love having a poncho on instead of wearing a heavier coat or jacket. And so I wanted to make this Hannah's Franny Granny poncho. Then I saw it like a year ago, but I just never got to it. I kept thinking, oh, it's going to be too much because there's too much hassle. And I had looked at various options when it came to all the different color stripes in it. I thought, by the time I buy a skein of each color, it's going to cost me too much to fool with. But then when I saw this option, when I was in Joann's, and I saw the idea of using the mandala, where I would have all the colors right in the ball and not have to worry about switching them out or buying separate balls, I decided that I wanted to do that. And then on top of it, that same day, I found this yarn, and this is my color. It's called Two Wands Color Theory. It's a LionBrand yarn, and it's 100% acrylic in a color called Raisin. And I thought, that is really going to go well with the Centaur. And while I was there shopping, I picked both of them to go together. And so then the next step is to do these 10 granny square pieces that will be going around the yoke. And then I'm also going to soon have to do about 4, I think. I'm going to have to do a few of the half triangle as well. But I'll show you this later as I get farther along. I just wanted to show you that I've enjoyed doing this so much, and it hasn't taken me much time at all to whip up 7 granny squares. I'm going to need a few more, and I'm going to need those half triangle ones also. But I just wanted to show you that this has been such a fun project. I've really been enjoying it, and I think it's going to go together more quickly than I thought, because it really didn't take time at all, and these granny squares are so portable. I do suggest that if you make them, though, that you block them. If you're doing acrylic like I'm doing, then you'll need to do a steam block. But be careful not to get too close to the square because you don't want to melt it. So I did mine. I've half blocked them, and it does make a big difference. Because if you look, this is one I didn't block. And the way you block them is you just pin them down onto a towel at the pin it so that it's the gauge you want. Like mine is 3.5 inches for each one of my squares. So with this one, you can see the edges are curled up a little bit, and it's not quite as nice looking as the ones that have been blocked. I don't know if you can see the difference, but there's a curling up a little bit of the edges of one that's not blocked. And so I do prefer to block my squares before I put them together into the garment. But that is where I'm at on that. I've just started the project, but it's so much fun. And I just love, love, love crochet right now. Well, I think that's all for today. It's a little bit shorter version, and hopefully you will be inspired and tell me what is comforting you lately, whether it's a shawl or a favorite project or a good book. Just let me know down in the comments. And if you like the channel, please do like and subscribe if you haven't already. I really appreciate your coming here and sharing time with me, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Till then, remember what we always say: love what you're making and wear what you make. Goodbye, everybody.